Let's talk about tariffs, the tax that politicians love to hype as a way to win at trade. They make for great sound bites. We're making them pay. It feels like a patriotic victory. But here's the twist. That feeling is based on a misunderstanding. Tariffs are sold as a way to punish other countries, but the reality is much less satisfying. The story politicians tell is simple. Team USA versus Team China. And tariffs are our secret weapon. But the truth? The person who ends up paying is usually you. When tariffs are announced, it sounds like a battle cry, but it's really just a tax on imported goods. The cost gets passed down the line, right to your wallet. Why do we fall for it? Because we're making China pay is easier to sell than we're taxing ourselves. Our goal today: cut through the political theater and show who actually foots the bill. Because if you've ever wondered why your new washing machine costs more, tariffs are probably to blame. Let's unpack how this works. So, what is a tariff? It's just a tax on imported goods. Before that new phone or pair of shoes hits the shelves, the importer pays a fee to the US government. Sometimes it's a flat amount per item. More often, it's a percentage of the item's value, an ad valorem tariff. The idea is to make foreign goods pricier, so American-made products look better by comparison. Tariffs are old news. Long before income tax, they were a main source of government revenue. The logic: make imports expensive and people will buy American. But here's the key. The tariff is paid by the American company importing the goods, not by the foreign country or company. The foreign manufacturer gets paid as usual. The US importer pays the tax to Uncle Sam. The foreign government isn't involved at all. This is the crucial detail that gets lost in the political noise. Tariffs sound like a penalty for other countries, but the bill is paid right here at home. That's the part politicians rarely mention. Let's follow a tariff from policy to your pocket. Say USA Gadgets Inc. buys 10,000 doodads from Vietnam at $50 each. Suddenly, the US slaps a 10% tariff on those doodads. When the shipment arrives, Customs charges USA Gadgets an extra $50,000. The Vietnamese factory already got paid. The US company pays the tariff. Now USA Gadgets faces a choice: eat the cost or raise prices. Most likely, they'll pass the cost to you. That $50 doodad now costs more at the store. The tariff, announced as a tough move against a foreign country, ends up on your receipt. It's not the foreign government paying. It's you, the consumer. Tariffs are a tax on you, just with extra steps. The journey from government press conference, to customs, to company, to your wallet. Every time you see a higher price tag, remember, that's the tariff at work. The real impact isn't overseas, it's right here at home. That's how tariffs sneak into your daily life. Picture this. You're ready to buy a new TV assembled in Mexico. The retailer buys it for $400, plans to sell it for $550. Then, a 25% tariff hits. Now the retailer pays $100 extra per TV. The Mexican factory still gets $400. The US retailer pays the tariff. Are they going to eat the cost? Of course not. They raise the price. Your $550 TV is now $650. You either pay more, buy a smaller TV, or walk away. This is how tariffs work. A hidden sales tax that lands on your bill. Politicians say, "We're making Mexico pay," but you're the one footing the bill. It's political misdirection. The cost is passed to you. And it's not just TVs. Tariffs hit shoes, clothes, cars, food, almost everything. The foreign penalty is really a tax on your everyday life. That's the real magic trick of tariffs. No tariff story is complete without Donald Trump, self-declared tariff man. He claimed tariffs would make China pay billions to the US Treasury. The message: tariffs punish China, enrich America, and revive U.S. manufacturing, all at no cost to Americans. Trump insisted trade wars were easy to win, and that any price hikes were just corporate greed. He promised tariffs would bring jobs back and make America stronger. The story was simple and powerful. China pays, America wins. But this narrative ignored basic economics. The reality: tariffs are paid by U.S. importers, not foreign governments. The checks weren't coming from Beijing. They were coming from American businesses. The story sounded great, but it didn't match the facts. Let's see what really happened. Did Trump's tariff vision match reality? Not even close. Studies from the Fed and others showed U.S. consumers and businesses paid almost all the costs. By late 2018, Americans were paying billions more each month in tariffs and lost efficiency. The idea that tariffs would spark a manufacturing boom didn't happen. Many U.S. manufacturers were hurt since they rely on imported materials. Tariffs on steel and aluminum made American-made products more expensive, not less. Other countries retaliated, targeting U.S. exports like soybeans and pork. American farmers took a direct hit, and the government had to bail them out. So, Americans paid more at the store and as taxpayers. Trade wars weren't easy to win. They were costly and messy. The promised victory turned into a bill for American families and businesses. The gap between rhetoric and reality was huge. Tariffs don't just hit big corporations, they ripple through your local economy. Take Brenda's bike shop. She imports parts from China to keep prices low. A 25% tariff hits, and suddenly her costs jump. She can't absorb the loss, so she raises bike prices. Families and students start buying fewer bikes. Brenda's sales drop, and she cuts employee hours. The coffee shop next door loses business too. Even U.S. suppliers feel the pinch as Brenda orders fewer accessories. One tariff triggers a chain reaction, hurting small businesses and communities. The impact spreads far beyond the original target. Tariffs meant to protect end up weakening Main Street. The real losers are local businesses and their customers. On a national scale, tariffs drag down economic growth. They distort trade, forcing consumers to buy pricier or lower quality goods. This makes the whole economy less efficient and a bit poorer. Tariffs fuel inflation. Prices rise across the board, from groceries to electronics. Lower-income families feel it most, since they spend more on basics. Other countries retaliate, slapping tariffs on U.S. exports like agriculture and machinery. Our most competitive industries get hurt, not helped. Tariffs create uncertainty. Businesses can't plan or invest when trade rules change overnight. Should they build a new factory, sign a long-term contract? Many just wait. The result: slower growth, less hiring, and more risk. Instead of stability, tariffs inject chaos into the economy. The promise of protection often backfires, hurting the very people it's meant to help. That's the real cost of tariffs. So, what's the bottom line? You pay the tariffs. When politicians say, "we're making them pay," it's either a misunderstanding or a sales pitch. The money comes from American pockets: higher prices, struggling businesses, and lost jobs. Understanding this matters. It's about being an informed citizen. Next time you hear promises about tariffs fixing everything, ask, who really pays? The answer is almost always you, your family, and your neighbors. Tariffs are a blunt tool that often cause more harm than good. They're like using a sledgehammer for surgery: messy and damaging. Remember, the bill for political theater lands in your mailbox. Knowing the truth helps you see how policy really affects your life.